Let's now look a bit closer at the elements of the external environment, so of the macro environment and all the influences on a business. There are things like the environment, environmental factors, the government, obviously, because they set up the legislations. Political, that's all about political stability, the what sort of government is in a country, how much they're involved in certain industries, things like that. The social aspects. So there's a lot of stuff going on as to how people communicate, how people get together, what people want. So again, it's the social, and it's also a bit of the social cultural. Obviously, what works in America, for example, might not necessarily work in the in a European country because cultures are completely different. Technologies, so what new technologies have come out, how do they influence your business or your external business environment. Your stakeholders, so anyone who is involved and who has an interest in your business. Legal aspects, again, that is connected to the government as well. And ethical issues, obviously, as well, because there are certain ethical issues connected to any business. So, there, and again, some of them link into, or a lot of them actually link into legal aspects as well, but of course, a lot of it is common sense. What is ethically correct or incorrect, and how would it influence you if you do something that's ethically wrong? Now, the next thing we are going to look at, and that is linked to the macro environment and to those factors I talked about before, is the PEST analysis, or actually the PESTEL analysis as well. And the PEST or PESTEL stands for political, economic, social, cultural, technological, environmental, and legal aspects of the macro environment. There are different names for it: STEP, STEPEL, and PESTEL. We use PESTEL as in PESTEL. Okay. The other forms of PEST are listed here, and some of them have some additional. So if you, for example, look at the second one here, it also is broken down a bit more. So it's got international and demographic issues there as well, although demographic very often falls under social or social cultural. Steeple is just moved around a few things and also includes ethical issues. And then another two. This is the short form for the PESTEL analysis, but we're going to talk about PESTEL, which includes the environmental, which is the first one, and the legal issues there as well. Now, political aspects are anything to do with labour market legislations, consumer legislations, what UK government and the European Union, because obviously, thinking about it, the EU makes a lot of rules and regulations that affect us in the UK as well. So there's a lot on working time, grants and subsidies, trading access, the euro, even though we don't have the euro in this country, it doesn't matter. It's still, linked to the euro. The UK government, what are our tax policies? What is the policy? What is the legislation on minimum wages? Transport, anything like that. Consumer legislations, food safety, labeling, consumer safety, health and safety, all these things, and labour market legislations, again, that is equal pay for men and women, Disability Act, stuff like that. So this is all the external aspects that obviously influence you as a business and that you need to adhere to and that you can't really do anything about it. If you don't adhere to them, you'll be penalized. So those are your political and legal aspects. There are just some things to think about. So how stable is the political environment? Do we live in a democracy? Is there going to be a war? Is there going to be an election? Is there a change of government? What government is in power? That has a lot to do with the industry as well. Do policies influence our business? Marketing ethics, what does the government do about it? Social and employment legislation. So this is just a list, some of the things that you need to think about when you look at the political factors of your external environment. Economic aspects, again, government, the regulations, health and safety, social constraints, uh, the economy. How strong is the economy? How strong is the euro? What's your taxation? What's the inflation like? What are interest rates like? How does it influence your business? And again, morals. Okay, again, you talk about business. Do you have conflicting aims? And you talk about your cultures as well there. It all has to do something to do with the economic factors. Again, there are some of the issues you want to think about: interest rates, inflation rates. What is the impact of technological changes on the economy? Does it make things easier? Does it make things more difficult? Does it make your trading faster? Does it help you improve your business? Sociocultural and technological. Okay, so social class, the socioeconomic groupings, what's fashion, what's in at the moment. What's the income distribution in a certain region nationally? Where are people more likely to go out for dinner, for example? Where are they and what are they likely to spend when they go out? What's their lifestyle like? Yeah. And then if you look at technology, are there new products, new markets? Have the production methods changed? Does it, does the technology support productivity? Is it more efficient? Is it worth investing in new technology? And it's also about marketing, how you market your business. And again, we're going to go a bit more into more detail once we talk about the technology as one of the contemporary issues. Sociocultural factors are: what's the dominant religion? Do you have to adapt your food? Do you have to offer vegetarian or vegan food, for example? Do people like foreign food, or do they want to eat, British food where you are? What's the leisure time like? Nowadays we have more leisure time than we used to have 50, 60 years ago. We have more disposable income. How much can we spend on food? What are the changes in the social cultural changes? Is the population getting older? Are there more children around? Is there population growth? So these are all the things you have to think about. Also, what's the role of women in the society? Men versus women. Again, linked to culture, completely different in the UK than it might be in another country, in a Middle Eastern country, for example. We all live longer. So again, those are things that we have to consider when we work in hospitality. We might have to, adapt our business. We might have to offer different packages, different foods. Again, it's nothing we can influence. Technological factors. Does technology help to save money on production cost? Is new technology there to make things cheaper or quicker as well? What are the impacts of emerging technologies? You have to look at the internet. You have to look at social media. Facebook is a strong social media. And if something goes wrong, you share it with not just one person, but with potentially 250 friends. You as a business can't do anything about it. Because, well, the damage is done, the damage is done. We're going to talk about this a bit more in marketing as well, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. What's being done with research and development? Research and development into technology is massive at the moment. And then, does technology offer companies a new way to communicate with consumers? Yes, of course it does. And how does it do that? Again, it's something for you to look at and to research. And then you've got your environmental and legal factors. What are the environmental considerations locally and further afield? What about leaving the hobs on? What about recycling? What about carbon footprints? All these things. Climate change. So these are factors you have to consider. And then legislative is again, links a bit in with the political aspects there as well. What are current legislations that are affecting the macro environment of your business? And as I said, there's working hours, there's the legislation on smoking, on minimum wages, and all these things. So what I look at the past 5-10 years, what has been happening there. Okay, homework: just complete your wikis with the macro and micro environment things, and then also we're gonna go over onto the SWOT analysis in a minute. So there's going to be a bit more work with that as well. And make sure you familiarize yourself with all the PESTEL factors that affect the environment your business works in.